Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's Lauren Whitney here and I am back with another makeup tutorial. So for today's video, I actually wanted to recreate a makeup look that I did for my maternity photo shoot that I did last weekend. I was so pleased with how my makeup came out. I thought it translated so beautiful into the pictures once they were done, and I thought let me go on here and just do a quick tutorial because I thought those of you that have photo shoots or special events coming up might find it useful. So if you want to see how I achieved this look, just keep watching. Okay guys, so to save some time, I went ahead and did my brows off camera. So I used the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow Pomade in the shade Ebony. I did do them off camera because I plan on doing an eyebrow tutorial at some point. So because I did this makeup for a photo shoot, I focused a lot on the skin and the texture of the face. The first thing I did was really moisturize my face. I used several steps of a skincare routine that I have been doing that is new, but I'm not going to give you too much of that skincare routine just yet because I do want to give you guys an updated skincare routine once I've been using this routine for about 30 days. Part of that routine is the e.l.f. Daily Hydration Moisturizer, and that is what I have used today to moisturize my face. Now I am just going to go under my under eye with the e.l.f. Illuminating Eye Cream. And this is just going to help my concealer lay on my under eye really smooth. So I'm just gonna put 2 little dots of that eye cream right there. Excuse me, I had to burp. And I'm just going to gently massage that underneath my under eye here. And usually when I do it, I do my brow bone, but since my brow bone already has concealer on it, I am not going to apply it there. I am just going to do my under eye area all the way back to my temples. For primer, I'm going to use the Maybelline Master Prime primer base. I'm going to use that just to prime my skin, and it's going to act as a nice barrier between my face and the foundation, just filling in and smoothing out my pores really nicely. It's also going to help my foundation lay down nice and smooth when I apply it. Now for some oil control. So this seems like a little bit redundant for me to do this because I did all this moisturizing and now I'm trying to control the oil, but it actually ends up working out really great and it gives me a nice finish. So I've been using the oil control primer mist, which is also by e.l.f., which I've really liked. After I apply my primer to fill in my pores, I do spray a little of this primer mist over my skin before I apply my foundation. It says to shake really well, and then I will just give my skin a nice spritz. I just kind of let that dry down over the skin because I do tend to get a little bit oily in my T-zone, and I hate when my makeup transfers really easily because the foundation that I'm using today is actually not a mattifying foundation. It is a little bit on the creamier side. And just taking it a step further, I got this tip from watching Jackie Ina's Insta story. So basically, before she applied her foundation, she applied her setting, like a layer of setting powder over her face. I'm going to take the Makeup Revolution Banana Deep Setting Powder, and I am just going to take that on a makeup sponge, a Real Technique sponge. I'm going to dab it on the back of my hand like this, which is also something that I saw Jackie do. And I am just going to dab that all over the areas that tend to get really oily. And we're going to just try to prevent some of that oil before it even starts. And for foundation today, I am going to use the Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation and concealer, and I'm going to use 2 different shades. I know that there are 2 different extremes, but there's a reason for that. So I am going to use the shade 11 Amber and number 14 Golden Toffee. And the reason I'm using these different colors is because these are also acting as my contour and concealer shades, as well as a foundation. So since it's a 2-in-1 foundation and concealer, I found these to be very useful to use for both purposes. They give me really full coverage, and now that I've kind of learned how to work with them, because in the beginning I just felt like that this formula was just way too oily. The steps that I just took beforehand are really gonna help me get the most out of this foundation and concealer. I'm just gonna take a flat foundation concealer brush, and the first thing I'm going to apply is the amber shade, which is the lighter shade, and I'm going to apply that everywhere that I would apply my concealer. Using the other side of my brush, I'm going to apply the Golden Toffee color around the parameters of my face where I would apply my contour shades. I am going to take a round foundation brush, and I'm going to start with the lighter areas, the center of my face, and I'm just going to start to blend that foundation in. The reason I'm using a brush over a sponge is because I feel like the sponge is going to pick up more product, and this is for a photo shoot, so I do want full coverage, and I want to leave as much product in place as possible, and I find that I get a more full coverage result when I use a foundation brush over a sponge to blend out my foundation. So now that the center of my face is blended out, I'll go ahead and work on the outer perimeter of my face and just kind of blend the edges together. Alright guys, so if it seems to still be a little muddy around my edges, don't worry, I am going to fix that because I am going to end up going in with a beauty sponge. I just want to give my face a little bit more highlight, so I am going to go in with a lighter concealer just to brighten, and this is the Maybelline New York Fit Me concealer in the shade Caramel, and I'm just going to take that and put that underneath my under eye here, just to brighten that under eye a tad bit. And I'm also gonna go down the bridge of my nose and a little bit on my chin. I'm just blending over the edges too, where my contour shade starts and my concealer begins, just to give that a seamless blend and get rid of some of those lines of demarcation. And I'm really just using my sponge to blend everything out so everything has a nice seamless look. So now going back into that Makeup Revolution Banana Deep setting powder, I am going to just set the face. So I am going to take my sponge and dip it into my setting powder, and I have everything on a little silver palette, everything that I'm using, my foundations and my setting powder. I'm just gonna dip into that and also just dab it on the back of my hand to get rid of some of the excess powder. And I'm just going to tap that into the areas where I put my concealer, just to set those areas. I'm using a pretty generous amount because I want my foundation and concealer to again stay in place and not move. I am gonna bake a little bit, but it's really just to catch the fallout of my eyeshadow when I get ready to do it. But I'm gonna blend this in for the most part because I don't want any flashback in my pictures. So I just kind of flip my sponge over, and I'm still going over the edges because I don't want a half moon here or like a line of demarcation there. So I want to make sure that that's nice and blended. Now I'm just going to go down the bridge of my nose. And I'm going to let that powder sit there like that for just a second. Just a tad bit of bake under each under eye to catch any fallout. And actually I wanted to keep it simple for my eyes. I wanted to actually use the same bronzer palette that I'm going to use to bronze my face here in a second, the Saharan blush palette, and this is by Juvia's Place. I'm not only going to use this palette for eyes, I'm also going to use it to bronze and contour the rest of my face. So again, I want to keep it real simple. This is for a photo shoot, so I didn't want to do too much like color or anything like that. I just want to keep, again, the skin, the focal point, nice and smooth, but I will add just a little bit of color and depth to the eye and a little pop of shimmer. So I am going to start by going into this first, this top middle shade here. It's the shade Neo, and I'm gonna just take that on a fluffy blending brush, and I'm just gonna tap off any excess. And I'm just gonna lightly shade that over my eyelids and up into my crease area. Okay, so now I am going to go into the shade Lila. I'm just going to take Lila and I'm going to sweep that across my eyelid. And notice I didn't use any concealer to cut the crease. I didn't want anything too harsh. I wanted it to be very soft. And this brush is actually not very dense. It's flat, but it's still on the softer, more fluffy side. And I'm gonna bring that down to my inner tear duct just to give my eyes a little bit of pop. And then taking that same Neo shade that I used before, I'm just going to go back over my outer corner and just kind of blend those two colors together at the edge. And we're done with the eyes. So, well, we're done with the eyeshadow. So now I am just going to take a little bit of black eyeliner, and this is the L'Oreal Paris Liner Intense eyeliner. It's a liquid liner, and it is in the shade Carbon Black. So it's a really black liquid liner, and I'm not gonna do a wing or anything too thick. I am just going to do a very thin line close to my lash line so that it will camouflage my lashes when I pop them on. So I did also put on some bottom liner in my waterline, and I used it's a L'Oreal eye pencil, and I really can't think of the name right now. I've sharpened it like all the way down so you can't see the name of the eyeliner pencil, but it's like an eye kohl, so it gets really dark. And I'm just going to put that in my waterline to give my eyes some more definition. Ooh, like that. So now it's time for lashes. I'm going to be using the Kiss Naked Drama Lashes, and I'm going to be using the style Lacy. And these are some really cute lashes. They're really a little bit in between glam and subtle, and so I didn't want my lashes to be too big. I wanted them to be somewhat natural, but I wanted you to be able to see them. So I did use these, and I'm just going to pop these on off camera. But before I do that, I'm going to use the L'Oreal Voluminous Mascara in Carbon Black just to coat my natural lashes really quick. So now that our lashes are on, guys, we're gonna go ahead and finish off the rest of the face and the lips, and that will be the end of this. Whew, I'm out of breath. Before I sweep away the baking powder, I did say that I was gonna drag that Neo color underneath my lash line just a little bit. So that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm going to use a Makeup Shack T63 brush. It is just a little tiny blending brush, and I'm just gonna tap into that Neo color and just blend it in the outer corner just a little bit, just to kind of bring that outer corner together. And I'm being very light-handed here, guys. I want it to be a nice blur. I don't want it to just look like a defined line. And I'm just gonna go back in with the brush that I used for that lilac color, that shimmer, and just kind of gently touch the inner corner one more time. I'm not gonna add any more product, but I do want to make sure that that inner corner is nice and bright and that I didn't overlap it too much with the black eyeliner. and I'm really happy with how the eyes look. So now I'm going to take a domed Makeup Shack brush, and it's the T34 brush, and I'm just going to sweep away that excess powder underneath the eyes. I didn't really have any fallout, but it was there just in case, because I did not want to mess up all the hard work that I did on the skin. So I'm just gonna sweep that away. Sweep that over any areas that I feel like I have that setting powder just sitting. And now it is time to bronze. So first of all, I'm gonna go in with my Anastasia Beverly Hills powder bronzer, and this is in the shade Mahogany. And I'm going to take that on an angled face brush, and I'm going to just use that in all the areas where I placed that darker foundation. Now this bronzer is not, it is a true bronzer, so it's not going to be too harsh. So I don't have to be as careful with it as I do need to be with my next step, which you'll see here in just a second. But I'm literally just going to sweep that all over the perimeters of my face, just to give my face a light bronze. And let me just hold that up so you can see what the packaging looks like. All over like so. And I didn't use any highlight for the shoot because I didn't want any areas to look oily, so I actually did not use any highlighter on my cheekbones. I just bronzed and contoured just a little bit. So for the contour, I'm going to go back into that Saharan blush palette, and I'm going to use the shade Abby, and I'm literally just going to tap into Abby just a little bit and tap off any excess. And this I am going to be extremely light-handed because I do not want it to be too harsh. I'm not bringing it all the way down, y'all. I'm just going to keep it right here, and that'll give me a little bit more definition to my cheeks. And I'm just going to tap off any excess and keep it right up near the temple and just underneath my cheekbone. Using a very light hand. Alrighty, and I'm also going to take a little bit of that setting powder again and tap it off on the back of my hand and carve that cheekbone out just a hair. I'm not gonna bake underneath there though, because sometimes that backfires on me and it just looks a little bit like I'm still baking. I haven't mastered how to cut it and then get it blended all the way, get that line blended all the way out. So this method of just kind of blending it in seems to work for me. And again, I'm just concentrating it back there near my ear like I did before, and just bringing it down. I'm also going to take a flat but like a fluffy tipped eyeshadow brush, and I'm going to contour my nose, but I'm going to use the Anastasia Beverly Hills bronzer. I'm not going to use, excuse me, the Abby shade, because that's just a little too dark and that'll be way too harsh for a nose contour. And I'm again going to tap that off and just lightly go along the sides of the bridge of my nose with that eyeshadow brush, just up into my brow area and bringing it all the way down. I didn't really get much of a pregnancy nose just yet. Now, that don't mean that I'm out of the woods. I could still end up getting it. But my nose has not really spread a ton. But I would have contoured my nose pregnant or not. So yeah, I'm just going to go back over the edges of that contour with my sponge. I did not add any product to the sponge. I'm just going to make sure that it looks nice and blended and not too harsh. I'm going to add a touch of blush to my cheeks, and I'm going to use the shade Zane. And I'm going to use a Makeup Shack T95 brush. Zane is a very pink color, but this brush is so fluffy that it does not add a lot at one time. So it's a very conservative brush to use when you want to add just a flush of color to your cheeks. Now we are going to move on to the lips and we're going to be done. So I'm going to just take the NYX lip liner in the shade Espresso, and I'm going to top that with the Amore Shine lip gloss by Milani in Tenderness. Okay, so now that my makeup is all completed, I am just going to set my face using the Morphe Continuous Mist Setting Spray. Now I'm going to add mascara to my bottom lashes. I didn't do it before because this is not waterproof and it always ends up transferring. So I wait until I do my setting spray and then do my bottom lashes at the very end. Alright y'all, this is the end of the video, and I hope that you guys were able to find it of use, especially if you of use. I got lipstick on my teeth. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you have any type of photo shoot or special event coming up, hopefully you will be able to recreate this look successfully. Thank you guys who are subscribed to my channel for sticking around. Thanks for being loyal to the channel. If you're new to this channel and like what you saw here, make sure to click the subscribe button and the notification bell down below, and I will see you guys in my next video.